Hi, welcome back to Reading with Leon. So, all I have left in the library is some serious ones. I'm going to start with one that I think is kind of important because I can't remember my grandma Nato at all. Technically, she was like my great grandma. And I used to think her name was Grandma Tornado, but it's Nato. Um, but I don't even remember her death, but I remember going and visiting her. The first death I really remember was a family friend who passed away from AIDS. I don't remember how he got it, and it's not important to me how he got it. And I'm not here to judge, but it was really hard for me because he was a really good family friend. After that, the next one I remember, I forgot. When I was younger, I had a friend, Charlie, who died in a car crash. I didn't get to go to the funeral. My mom thought I was too young and it was too far away, if I remember correctly. And I think kids need closure if they ask to go to a funeral. I think it needs to be respected. I'm going to try to do that with mine. I'm not judging my mom or anything. She did what she thought was right, and that's okay. And then after that, 7th grade was my grandpa, and I don't remember his funeral. I don't remember if I went or not. But I do remember, getting pulled out of school for my grandpa dying. And then my dad's mom, she passed away when I was just a year and a half old. So technically, I think she's probably the first one of the family. And I don't really remember her. But I do remember growing up, my mom said that I used to talk to her and say she was in my room. So I kind of believe the veil is thin. I always kind of believe that. I think they're there watching over us and stuff. But I think it's important to tell kids about death because you never know when it'll happen in days like now. And I think they need to know how to deal with it the best they can. So, this is a kid's book about death. It's one of the kids' books about where you can go on and look at the other one on their website. I also tagged the stuff on the sites that on my video. The tag is there, so you guys can look at that if you want to. So this one is by Taryn. Schuelke? Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. It says Better Together. This book is best read together, grown up and kid. So hope you got your kid there with you, or show it to him again later. And you can go to akidsbookabout.com and look up more if you would like. And they dedicated this to our beloved, mine and yours, who left our hearts forever changed. And if I get a little teary-eyed or anything during this, the most recent death that's kind of important to me that has happened with my brother. I was pregnant with Leon when he had a heart attack and died by some missed things that could have happened that maybe could have saved him, but I'm not going to get into that right now, but because that'll make me angry. But just some things that could have happened that maybe he'd still be here, but I guess it was his time. I just feel like my son was cheated on that, but that's okay. So the intro says, death can be one of the most difficult topics to discuss no matter your age. It can feel especially intimidating to address it with kids. However, kids are ready to talk about it. They are able to understand death and cope with grief. I know this because I have dedicated my career in education to support families with this conversation. This book helps us explore what death is, how it makes us feel, and how we are responsible to it. If I tried to keep it as basic as possible that you and your kid can have deeper conversations about whatever topic matters most. Feel free to pause at some of the questions throughout the book to discuss further or take a break if you want. You can always come back to the book at any time. What kids need most when facing this topic is a trusted grown-up who will be honest and sensitive. Now let's do this together. And same thing, if you need to pause this to talk to your kid about something, be more than happy to. I'm not going to get mad at you for it. It's important. With any of my videos, you can pause if we're doing some of these. If they have a question or anything, I want them to feel like they have a voice, so it won't make me mad if you have to pause at all. And if you want to get these books for yourself too, you can go to your library. But if you want the whole set, maybe they have it online somewhere. I haven't checked. I just grabbed these because I saw them at the library on one of the display shelves, and I thought it was a good thing to do because they're good topics. You just opened a kid's book, but this isn't a typical kid's book. This book is about death. And there aren't really pictures, so I'll probably try to just put it up if there's pictures. Just like every book has a beginning and an end, so does every living thing. The end part is called death, and sometimes it can be really hard to talk about. Why? Because it can cause big feelings. Like me now, I'm trying not to cry. Acceptance, heartbreak, sadness, confusion, envy, gloom, bother, certainty, aching, ease, powerlessness, eagerness, fulfilledness, caution, worry, guilt, awkwardness, sensitivity, sorrow, numbness, terror, devastation, interest, worry, bitterness, protectiveness, loss, humiliation, confidence, confusion, anger, crankiness. Anger is a big one for me usually on this. Motivation, anxiety, astonishment, relief, challenge, jitters, hope, courage, gratification, strength, warmth, exhaustion, paranoia, impatience, nausea, shakiness, obsession, angst, playfulness, loneliness, hurt, reflection, fear, gratitude, embarrassment, shyness, neutrality, distress, love, grief, peace, snappiness, cowardliness, optimism, rage, agitation, intimacy, joy, compassion, pain, selfishness, anger, tension, defeat, hostility, fortune, hesitation, exclusion, regret, thankfulness, pride, fury, anticipation, curiosity, tiredness, neediness, distress, restlessness, helplessness, denial, calm, good feelings and hard feelings, and that's true. And when I remember the good moments is good, but other times not so much. The truth is, there's no right or wrong way to feel about death. In fact, people usually feel a lot of these things all at the same time, even grown-ups. Actually, grown-ups can also have a hard time talking about death. Give your grown-up a high five for being brave and getting you this book, or showing you this video. I talk to people about death all the time. I know that sounds weird, but it's my job. I want to help you talk about death too, and I hope this book will make that a little easier. So if you're ready, let's do this. I talk to people about death all the time. I know that sounds weird, but it's my job. I want to help you all talk about death too. Hope this book makes that a little easier. So if you're ready, let's do this. First, to understand death. I don't know what I did with my ears. Had to take Noel to work. First, to understand death, it's important to know what alive means. I'll be right back. Come here, Evie. Almost forgot. Come here. Come here. Come here. Good girl. Good girl. Had to get Avery a treat because she came along and was such a good girl. So we have to understand what alive means. To be alive means that the body is working, the mind is thinking, the person is feeling. If you're reading this book, that means you're alive. Are you with me so far? Great. Okay, so now I'm going to describe how death works. Imagine a flower growing in a garden. The sun is shining. Everything is just fine. Then the flower gets picked. What do you think will happen to the flower? With time, the flower will die. For people, it's kind of like that too. Dying begins when important parts of the body stop working, like the lungs, which breathe the air, the heart, which pumps blood, kidneys, liver, which clean the blood, and other things, like the brain, which tells the body what to do. These are called vital organs. Vital organs are super important. When a vital organ stops working, it's called dying. Other parts of the body can stop working and the person can be fine, like arms, eyes, ears, toes. I'm not going to show you my toes. Every living thing can get sick or hurt, like when you catch a cold or break a bone. If I'm lucky, I haven't broken a bone, but I've torn tons of ligaments and that hurts. That's normal. Being sick or hurt is not the same as dying. Dying doesn't start unless one of these things happen. A person can get really, really old and the body can't work anymore. Sometimes a big accident can cause an injury that stops your vital organs. Other times people can make death happen on purpose. We're not going to talk about that, I don't think, hopefully. There are also serious illnesses that can be deadly to the body, like cancer. Dying can be quick, or sometimes it can take some time. If it takes time to die, the dying person's body changes. Those vital organs aren't working like they used to, so the person might not be as hungry or might be really tired all the time, and that's okay. The dying body shows everyone what the person needs, and then everyone does what they can to help the person be calm and comfortable. So how do we know if someone is dead? Death happens when everything stops working. Dead means the body stopped working completely and can't be alive anymore. At that point, we say the person has died. That means their body can no longer eat, talk, feel, walk, or pick their nose. All the things that living people do. My brother used to pick his nose and eat it. It was so gross. No matter how someone dies, we honor and respect their body and take care of it after death. Sorry, I'm trying to pop my foot. It hurts. Okay, doesn't want to pop. There are lots of different ways people can take care of a dead body. Some people have a funeral or a memorial service. A viewing of the body might happen. It might be important to touch or not touch the body. Sometimes they won't show you the body if it's a really bad accident. Kind of wish I didn't. I actually was at the hospital not long after my brother died, and I kind of wish that wasn't the last picture I had in my mind from my brother. I really don't. He had tubes in his mouth, and he kind of looked like a cat with the tube in his mouth, and I just knew my brother wasn't there. I wish he was still alive. Sorry. Some people bury the body right away or on a specific day after the death. There might be songs. We played a lot of Jeremy's favorite Skillet songs. Prayers, thoughtful words. Some people keep social items with the or special items with the body. I don't think he did because we had him cremated. That was what he wanted. He wanted his organs donated, but because it was during COVID, they didn't donate his organs because they gave him one of the rapid tests and it said that he had COVID, which they were only about 40% effective back then, and so all his organs that were probably in pretty good shape got wasted. And so other people might choose cremation for the body, which means turning the body into ashes. That's what I want to when I pass away. Hopefully my organs will be donated like my brother and wanted. We both were organ and blood donors. And then I'll be cremated. That way my organs and stuff can go to good use. Sometimes dead bodies are placed in tombs. I don't think that happens as much anymore. I know in England they do with the royal family. I think also cremation is a good thing because there's not a lot of land left. Well, there is still a lot of land, but bodies in the ground take up some room, and people are like, oh, you need your body for when Jesus come back. If Jesus can put my soul back with my body, he can turn my body from ashes into active body. He doesn't need my body. There's many other ways. It depends on what the dying person wants or what their family chooses. My mom was trying to find my brother like a Batman or an anime urn, and closest thing is something that my brother liked was camo. But we keep some of his Batman things next to his urn. And I have a little friend over there with items from his favorite movies, TV shows, picture of him and the family, things like that. And then my son has a lot of his toys, and my mom, she surprised me the other day when we went up for my surgery. She told me she kept Jeremy's Hot Wheels, all the ones that she could find, and Leon's gonna get them one day. And that's special because they were mine, and then he gave them to my brother, and now my son will have. I knew it'd be something from his Uncle Batman. Sorry guys, I knew I shouldn't have done this one. With your mind or whatever, what do you think is a great way to show care and respect after death? We just all tried to share good memories with my brother after he died, and I think we did the same thing on excuse me just 1 second. Oh no, here I go. We did the same thing when my grandpa died, but my memory from back in junior high before is not the best. Sorry guys, just trying to be real for you. My grandpa was a funny man. I think he's a little bit like my husband. Except my mom says that my grandpa's jokes were funny and my husband's jokes aren't funny. But I guess it's just in a matter of opinion. Now you know when it comes to death, there's a lot to talk about. Remember those big feelings? Have you felt any while thinking about death or reading this book? As you can say, I have. You can share yours in the comments. So now she says, let me tell you the most important thing. Death is normal. when and how it happens can feel unfair, but it's something that happens to everyone. And sometimes it is fair. Sometimes it's a good thing. The reason I think my brother's wasn't fair is I think it could have been stopped if people would have made different choices. He could still be here. Everyone will experience death is a part of life, and I do understand that. It's just the way my brother died. I have a lot of feelings that I'm still trying to work through. Because I think my brother and I balanced each other out. He claims he's introverted, but he was still a lot more extroverted than I am. And he would always help anybody. That's what we're like. If people needed a ride, it was really far away, and they only had $5 to help, he'd do it. He helped me move my stuff, and all I could give him was stuff from Taco Bell, and he said that's all he wanted. It was also nice to spend time with him. My brother and I lived together in an apartment, kind of near where I live right now, but not exactly the same. We lived together for about a year and a half, and he was the best roommate. His room may have been in a disaster area, but he made sure the rest of the house was clean, dishes were done. Yeah. Do you know someone who has died? Do you know someone who's dying? You can talk about him in the comments. We'll start a chat. Maybe send positive vibes out to the ones that are dying and to their families. As I've said, they say, I want you to know that it's okay to talk about it. And no one should ever tell you that your time to grieve is up. There's no timeline for someone's grief. I think it's also hard for me because my son, Leon, he looked like my brother did as a little kid. There are differences, little differences, but sometimes things that he does, it's like my brother's here. I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't mean to be such a waterworks person today. I knew this was going to be a hard one, but I didn't think it was going to be this hard. Talking about dying or someone who has died can be really comforting and helpful, and that's true. Especially people who loved that person just as much or more than you did. And you can't say that that person didn't love that person as much as you because you don't know how much they love them. You can remember great moments and special days, and I do all the time. Especially when special days with Leon. I wish that my brother could have been here. And I think about what maybe would have happened if he was here, and it's just crazy. You can celebrate the person's life. That's how we have the ofrenda. I'm not, as far as I know, I'm not a lot of Latina at all. But, it was just something that I thought would be good so Leon can remember his uncle since he never got to meet him. And I do this. I share stories, wishes, and dreams. My brother, he wanted to be a video game designer, and he was in the middle of designing a video game. And he also wanted to be an author. And he was in the middle of writing something, and I tried to find it on his hard drive, because I was like, maybe I can finish it for him. The story, not the video game. I have no idea how to design video games, but we couldn't find it. At least not as far as we know. But my brother and I are both creative, so I know whatever book he was writing was probably amazing. We were both good in theater together. He actually, in theater one year, they put us as husband and wife and Into the Woods. And we were really strong at a point because they wanted the arms to go across the chest of the person. And my brother said, yes, she's my sister, and you may think that I think that's gross, but I also think it's inappropriate to touch a woman there. And so we changed it to going like this. So that way we didn't have to worry about that. And that's the kind of respectful duty is. When we talk about death, it creates community, belonging, and family. It helps us think about what we believe in, like, what is our purpose? What is the meaning of life? Is there something after death? Is there a special part of us that continues on? And I know there is. Jeremy and we have the genetic bond, so parts of my DNA that have Jeremy-ness, and he'll my son, and I see it. It's a blessing. It helps us talk about what really matters, and that can be beautiful. It is. I just hope one day I won't think about his death and be angry. I try not to focus on that part. I try to focus on the other part. Like, I have a picture of Skillet, which is one of my brother's favorite bands, and he got it signed for me when he went to his Skillet concert. And it's right here. I can see it anytime I want. When I watch movies of like Sonic or Mario, I can think of my brother because he loves those cars. My brother loved cars, and Liam loves cars so much. I think it's gonna start turning into an Encanto where we have to watch all three of them at least once a week. One thing I know for sure is that death doesn't end a relationship. It definitely does. It doesn't mean my brother's not my brother anymore. He's still my brother. He'll always be my brother. He'll always be Leon's uncle. And my husband's brother-in-law. My parents' son. And they say, but you're wondering how is that possible? Let's see what their explanation is. I kind of have one of my own, so we'll see if they match up. Because love doesn't end with death. Love continues and grows and changes over time, and that's so true. So I'm not really a fan of till death do us part. Because I don't think if your spouse dies, they stop being your spouse. I mean, legally they do, so you can marry somebody else, but you don't stop loving them. My brother is not no longer my brother, because I still love him, and he'll always be my brother. It makes people feel and act in new ways. This is called grief. This right here is grief. All that love builds up inside, and they have to figure out what to do with it. They want some ideas. There's a list in the back of the book. I'll read that for sure for you guys. Things they decide to do or say or make out of love keeps the relationship going. Why? That love only exists because of the relationship happened. Sometimes I wonder if my brother and I would have been friends if we weren't siblings. Growing up, we weren't always best. I have to say it was mostly my fault. Because Jeremy did have little things that would push my buttons. I wonder if we would have been friends, because ironically, my best friend was in one of the same classes with my brother when he first started his private school. I came 2 years later, I think, than my brother. So I got to be Jeremy's sister instead of Jeremy being Deborah's brother, which I think was okay, because I got to be the first in a lot of things until he went there. So that's okay. Definitely know if my brother wouldn't have transferred to private school, I wouldn't have my best friend. I still wonder. I mean, we have similarities, but we are 4.5 years apart, but my best friend is about the same. So, I don't know. But I think God knew what he was doing when he put him as my brother. Remember that life is like a story. Just because the book closes doesn't mean you forget what the story was or the way you made it feel. That is true. Remember, death is normal and it's okay to talk about it. So as you close this book, I hope you will keep talking about these things. But if those big feelings happen, I hope you talk about those too. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings matter. Your questions matter. And your life matters. Ideas to keep love growing. Wear their favorite color. My brother's favorite colors were orange, blue, white, and silver. I wonder if my mom still has his blanket she made him, because that was pretty cool. Take a picture with their picture. That would be cool. Visit their favorite place. Haven't found the Tokyo con yet, but that was one of my brother's favorite cons. Write them a letter and keep it in a safe place. I kind of say my letters to him all the time in my head when I'm alone. Make a cake on their birthday. I do still celebrate his birthday. I don't do a cake because I'm diabetic and he's diabetic, and he actually likes lemon bars, although I would love to make him a lemon cake on his birthday. Hold something that was theirs. Have a shelf full of that. Think about them during important moments. I do all the time, because I miss out on seeing what my brother would have done when he saw certain moments of Leon's. I may have to put some of the other library books back that are serious until maybe later. I tell stories about them all the time and make sure Leon knows about his Uncle Batman. Draw them a special picture. I haven't drawn pictures, but I've colored pictures that I thought he would have liked. Leon, I love Leon's art. Say their name to someone. Which one? There's Jeremy. Germs. Batman. So I call him Uncle Batman or Uncle Jeremy to Leon. Eat their favorite food. We eat a lot of ramen, so we're good. I just don't know how to make the stuff that my brother made the best ramen soup. Oh, even his friends said it was just as good as the fancy ramen soup places that are some places. Excuse me one moment. Okay, and listen to their favorite songs. That's not hard either. Most of them are Ruby songs, but he also does love classical music. He loves Skillet, a lot of Christian music. Now, outro. brave grown-up, if you're reading this book to an awesome kid, that means you are doing a hard and meaningful things. Every loving caregiver I have worked with has struggled to start this conversation. That is the hardest part, starting. Excuse me. Here is some general advice I'd like to share with all of my fellow grown-ups who are talking about death with kids. Keep it honest and keep it simple. Use their questions and thoughts as a guide. Explain details about the death, but only as much as you feel comfortable with. There is always time to explain further as your child gets older. Starting with the basics and then adding more information as they are ready will help them not to feel overwhelmed. Keeping an open and honest space for talking about death will build trust with your kid, trust with you and your kid, and help them feel safe. So I mean it when I call you brave. You are brave and you can talk about difficult things. Thank you for helping kids feel safer, stronger, and smarter. And I would say if you can, if they're old enough for some things, probably talk to them about death before it happens, because otherwise you're gonna be a mess like me. I mean, that may be okay, that may let them show it's real, but it may be super overwhelming for you too. So maybe talk to them when you feel it's right, even if someone hasn't passed, just so they know what it's like before it happens. And so there are more books like these ones. Has a list here. There's emotions, optimism, creativity, voting, depression, change, mindfulness, shame, cancer, empathy, and God. And you can look these up at kidsbookabout.com, or maybe even check your local library. So that's it with this one. Sorry for the tears and the snot. I try to be real here for you guys. That's why I didn't pause it. I know there is some pauses in here from a couple things, but I didn't pause it from how I felt. I wanted to be real because I wanted your kid to see something real. Tell in the comments if you want more of these. I'll try as much as I can. Some of them, like this one, was hard. I didn't think it was going to be as hard as it was. And I love you guys, and have a great weekend, okay?